As runners, we all challenge ourselves in ways we never thought possible, pushing the boundaries of what we're capable of to smash through targets and set ourselves new, bigger and better ones.
This awesome hobby that we share gives us one thing in common, and it brings us together as a community. Whether you're working towards completing your first parkrun or you're a veteran of the sport who's run 100 ultra marathons, we all know the feeling of reaching that maxed out effort and our own red line.
Welcome to our podcast, where your hosts Brett Elesmore and Andy Maguire discuss the struggles, the successes and everything in between on our running journeys, as we all work towards the next time we're running the red line. Hello and welcome to episode 36 of Running the Red Line. I am your host Brett, and I am joined as always with my co-host Andy. And how are you this week, mate?
Forget how I am. People are going to be listening to this thinking, have I just turned on to the EastEnders podcast? I'm your host, Phil Mitchell. Can you just say for the listeners, I'm going to kill you.
I'm going to kill you.
Oh my God, mate. You sound really rough. You sound really rough.
I'm a little bit ill at the moment, yeah.
I mean, I knew that you are the most stubborn person I've ever met in my life, and you've just confirmed it because you won't not do this podcast. You obviously have qualified yourself well enough to do it. But you sound pretty bad.
Yeah, instead of my usual cuppa, I've got honey, lemon, and ginger, so it's all good.
Yeah, you sound like you need it, to be honest. Is it just? Have you just? I know it's cliche, but have you just got that thing that everyone's been getting this week? What's been going around?
Pretty much. I think basically I blame my students at work. They've all been sniffling and been all snotty around me all week, and I think I've picked it up off them.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine it must feel like a hotbed of what do you call it? Germs sometimes working in education. Yeah,
big time. But I felt half decent Tuesday. I felt a little bit run down, and I could feel something coming on. But Wednesday, it hit me big time and just blocked up all my sinuses. And now my sinuses are open, so I can actually breathe out my nose, but it's now gone into my throat. And it felt like someone stabbing me in the throat or razor blades every time I swallowed, trying to sleep last night. And I now sound like Barry White, so it's all good.
So have you been at work today, or have you had some sort of rest day today or yesterday as well? Or?
Sort of. It's my Obi-Wan days, Thursday and Friday. So I've been working from home. I've still been doing work, but I haven't actually been into the shop. So it's been all right.
Oh God, I can just imagine. Because I know what you're like. I bet you were like, oh, I've got all this work. I can't have a day off. Can't not do it. So well, being self-employed, that's sometimes the part of the gig, isn't it? You've got to just get on with it, I guess.
Yeah. No one pays you for sick days when you're self-employed.
No. So you've just got to crack on. So it's a good job you're not racing this weekend. Hang on.
Yeah. I'm going to see how I feel on Sunday morning and see what the gig is. But yesterday I went to training yesterday evening because I felt, it's all in my head. So I was like, it's not on my chest. It's on my head. Sorry. I've got a cat climbing up my shelves. Hang on.
Oh God.
Thank you.
All right, babes.
Say hello. So I it's all in my head. So because it wasn't on my chest, I thought I can go to training. It's not too bad, and it was only a steady run yesterday. So I went and I ran pretty well and felt pretty good. But then in the evening, like as I went to bed, it properly hit me again. So
Yeah.
It's it is what it is. It's one of them.
So we're both supposed to be racing this weekend in different races, which
Yeah.
we'll probably have a chat about later. But Brett's lining up for his legendary Ulster 10K that you've done a fair few times before. Which
Yeah.
I double booked myself because I would have done that this year because you've always talked about how good the race is
Mate.
and the PB
Yeah,
potential.
Ulster 10K is such a good race. It's
Yeah.
really well supported. So like the centre of Ulster fills with people. It's really good atmosphere. And the course is pretty good. It's undulating, but I wouldn't say it's like bad at all for the first 5K.
Yeah.
You get to 5K and there's a hill at 5K, but it's not too bad. It's not really steep. It's definitely a hill, but it's not really steep and it's not too long. So once you get over that, you can get rolling again. There's another bit of an incline at about 7.5K. And then when you get to 8K, you come out on the main A road and it's more or less downhill to the finish. And it's just a 2K sprint to the finish. I've just spilled my honey, lemon and ginger all over myself.
The hits just keep on coming. Oh, God. Now you've got 3rd-degree burns.
But
God.
So it's like a 2K sprint to the finish. But like as you get to the end of that road, you turn back onto the high street and there's loads of people lining the sides cheering you on. And it's I think from that corner, it's probably 200-300 meters to the finish. So it's a proper full on. You turn the corner and just sprint for home. It's really good race. Really good race.
Yeah, I've seen you've done a couple of videos there, haven't you? Is that your 10K? Your 10K PB was there last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, my PB from last year. Yeah. When the first time I broke 36 minutes, was well happy.
Yeah.
And I was hoping to try and get somewhere around there this year, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I would have been joining you, but I've got Cardiff Half Marathon this weekend because when I signed up to Newport, also on the website was quite a good deal. I thought it was like entry was, let's say, 55 quid or 50 quid for the Newport Marathon. I mean, this is what I think it was. I think it was 85 quid, and you get the Newport Marathon and the Cardiff Half for like 85 quid, which I thought that's a pretty good deal considering now.
Yeah.
Half marathons, you're looking at 45, nearly 50 quid for some of them.
Well, for those two races, you paid less than I paid for Manchester.
Yeah, I mean Manchester obviously is not a cheap race, is it? So
no.
So yeah, I think it's really good value. And from what I've read and heard about the Cardiff Half, it sounds like it's going to be a really good race. Apparently, there's last year anyway. I think there was 26,000.
Oh wow!
26,000 runners. So it's actually a much bigger race than I actually thought it was. It's instead of it feeling a little bit like, let's say, Worcester that we both did a couple of weeks ago. I think it's going to feel closer to like the Great North Run. It's going to feel like let's face it, probably quite a fast field as well. Because I've read from the info pack that they've sent over, there's elites coming from there are Kenyans and Ethiopians and all sorts of people. Coming to run, and then you've obviously got some of the fastest people in England and Wales trying to battle it out, and then there's what else was I going to say? I can't remember about. It's a part of the Super Half series, so it's got a massive international sort of following as well. Because for those of you that don't know what the Super Halves is, it's a little bit like, with the marathon majors, you can do the 6 stars. You got your Boston, New York, Chicago, Berlin, Tokyo, London. With the Super Halves, it's just something they've created in recent years, and they've put together 6 major or pretty big European cities half marathons as almost part of a brand. And I think it's something like, correct me if I'm wrong, you got 5 years to finish all 6, and I think similarly you get a 6-star finisher medal or something like that. So those 6 halves are: there's Cardiff, Lisbon, Prague, Valencia, Berlin half, and there's one more. I can't remember what it is. Did I say Lisbon? I can't remember. Copenhagen. So they're all
yes.
they're all big half marathons, and sounds like just like a really cool way to see a bit of Europe and to see some really big races. And I know these big, well-supported races are not everyone's cup of tea. Like some people, and this is absolute fair play, some people might prefer like the Ulster 10Ks, you know, those kind of villagey kind of races that with a 1,000 people max. They might not prefer the big ones, a little bit like Manchester and Cardiff and the Great North Run, which is fair play. But I'm greedy. I like them all. I like anything from the small, tiny park runs to the big, massive ones. So I'm fully expecting a really busy Sunday. So it's going to be good fun, I think.
Amazing.
And Tommy D, Try Hard's Tommy D, has been giving me some tips.
Excellent.
He's told me about the 2 danger zones, because they market it as a flat course, and I've watched a couple of videos on it, and I've seen the course elevation, and there are 2 pretty stinky hills in there. There's one at 5k, and there's another one, no joke, it's at like 12 miles or 12 and a half miles, and it's not very long, but it looks sheer and it will stop you in your tracks.
A bit like the one at the Great North Run that you were talking about.
Yeah, but at least that one comes at 10 or 11 miles. This one comes just as you're preparing to go hard for your last 5 to 10 minutes of running. And so, I'll have to give you a report on that next week and let you know
definitely
what it. And just while we're on the subject of Cardiff, I'm pretty sure, 99% sure, I'm going to go with the Alphas. So I'm gonna test them out. Do you know what's even funnier? You know the guy that sold me them.
Yeah.
I've done a bit of stalking, and he is on his profile picture. He's in a. I can't pronounce the name of the club, but I've seen their vest before from South Wales, and he's wearing one of their vests. So I'm going to look out for him. And I say, you sold me some Alphas and blood all over them. So do you recognise these, do you? Covered in blood. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to racing in the Alpha Flies, and it's just going to be interesting to see sort of how I get on. And I've only worn them for a 10k before.
I was going to say, you haven't worn them much, have you? Did you manage to stick the sole back down?
No. So it's so basically there's like a panel on the underside. There are 2 narrow, thin panels on the outer section of almost like the heel on the back of the shoe, on the bottom of the shoe, and one of them has just come away. It's just slightly like it's come unstuck. It's come unglued a little bit. And I bought some Gorilla Glue or something like that, some contact adhesive, and it just can't get it stuck back down. So I'm just hoping that it doesn't get any worse. But aren't Alpha Flies and pretty much Nike full stop, aren't they renowned for just having no long shelf life and just falling to pieces?
They're known for not great build quality, so there's like little bits of glue all over the uppers and all sorts all over the place. And then they don't last the longest. Yeah.
So, again, I'll have to give you a recap next week about how I get on. But, I just wanted to just wear them because I think a half marathon will be a good test of them. I've run them for 10 or 11k, so I know how they feel for wearing them for half the distance. And they didn't fall apart on me in 10k, so hopefully just another 11k, they should be okay. But
what's your aim for Sunday then?
Well, I've been thinking about, should I do it sensibly? No, of course not. What's the point in that? Where's the fun in that? So I was going to do it at marathon pace, and then I thought, I was speaking to Beardy Rich about this, and he said, well, one way to look at it is you ran your PB in Worcester, so you've got, if nothing else, if all else fails now, you've ran a good hometown half marathon, and that could be what you wanted to achieve all year, which it is. And then he's like, well, just look at Cardiff, just test the water and, push the boat out a bit and see what you feel like at different speeds and how long you can hold on for. And And who knows, you might end up getting a really good result. And if nothing else happens, it's just a good training run and it's good experience. If nothing else, it's just good content for the podcast.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I will go for. I'm going to go out at Worcester PB pace.
Okay, nice.
And I'm going to try and kick on if I can.
So during the 10K that you tried the alphas out on, did you get down to that half marathon pace?
Yeah, I did, but I only held it. I did almost like a pyramid run or more of a progression run. And I got down to half marathon pace, but I only did a kilometre at half marathon pace. And this could have just been me on the day. I just wasn't feeling particularly fit that day, or I just wanted to slow down a bit, or I couldn't remember what, but I remember just feeling really comfortable at marathon pace, which in kilometres is about 15 seconds slower per kilometre, 20 seconds slower. So what would that be in miles? I mean, my about 20 seconds slower. No, is it the other way? 40? I can't remember. So basically, I was doing 4:25 is my half marathon pace, but they felt really good at 4:45s and 4:40s. So in mileage terms, they felt really good at about 7:11s. They felt really good at about 7:30s, 7:35s, which is my marathon pace. Yeah. And I only had them up at 7:11s for one, half a mile or a mile. So yeah, just going to see how they feel. But I know they're a good shoe. I've just got to learn to go with the flow with them because it's slightly different to anything I've ever worn.
Yeah.
And yeah, just sort of experiment a bit. And if it all goes tits up, then it's just a Sunday long run, isn't it? So
yeah,
and that you paid for.
Yeah, they're a strange old shoe. Those alphas.
Yeah.
They're an odd old thing.
And do you want to explain how you know that they're odd? Because nobody will believe you.
No. So when was it? Saturday last week.
After Parkrun, yeah.
So after Parkrun, I came over to yours because you went over to Worcester and did Worcester Woods Parkrun. And you brought them out to show us all so we could have a look at them. And I was like, can I try them on? And you were like, yeah. And then got your camera out to take some photos of me putting a pair of Nike on.
Don't worry, those photos will die with me. There's no evidence.
Yeah, I put them on. And I basically ran 100 meters down the road and 100 meters back. And on the 100 meters back, picked up the pace a little bit. But they just felt really odd, like nothing I'd ever run in before. The back, the back is so soft. The Zoom X on the back is so soft. And then in the forefoot, because you got that bubble, that's so stiff. It was really odd. So when you were landing on the midfoot, you were like, it sort of felt like it was leaning me back because I was squashing down into that back bit, whereas the front bit was a bit stiffer. And it just, I don't think it suited my my cadence or my stride.
Yeah, they definitely will take some getting used to, which is why, I mean, I won't rule out wearing them for Valencia. I'm pretty sure I won't. But you never know. If I run if I run a 132 or 133, then I'm going to think, oh, hang on a minute. But but I mean, I don't know. We never say never, but I don't think that's going to happen. But you never know. But I'm pretty sure I'll end up wearing my trusty Adios Pro 3s. But you never know. They might really suit my form, and like you say, they didn't really suit yours. But I haven't really tried them at a quicker pace than marathon pace, so they might feel even better, or they might feel even worse. I'm not quite sure. But one thing I do know is that the alphas seem to be a bit of a. I don't know how Nike have done this, or maybe it's just people that have purchased them thinking, "Oh, I've spent 280 quid on these. I'm going to wear them for every run." But they seem to be like they seem to be acceptable for a 5K, a 10K, a half, a marathon. So people obviously think they're really good right at the top end.
Yeah. You see people wearing them down at Parkrun every week. So it's
So they must be good
there
at.
must be something in it, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm quite looking forward to just seeing what they can do. But yeah, more than anything, I'm just looking forward to Cardiff because it does seem like a really genuinely good race, and
Yeah.
I haven't been this excited for a race for so long because it's like a race. It's a race that I've never done, and all the races that I seem to have done recently, I've done before. The last
Yeah.
few, like Birmingham, and then Great North Run, and then Worcester. So it's like it's the first race I'm going in with sort of like rose tinted glasses, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm going in for something big for the first time. So yeah, the forecast at the moment looks okay. Tommy D has warned me that there's a big exposed section called the Barrage, which is, if you know Cardiff, I don't, have you ever been to Cardiff Bay? You know where the big opera house is, and there's a section that takes you from Penarth going sort of northbound, and there's a big narrow section where you run. Yeah, you basically run into Cardiff Bay, and apparently there can be some really nasty crosswinds there. So, or headwinds, but apparently it hopefully shouldn't be too bad. But yeah, mega excited. Hopefully this hill at 12 miles doesn't derail me too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, just mega excited going down with Beardy Rich because he's doing it as well,
Wicked.
and no doubt he'll be smashing it as well.
Are you just going down Sunday? You're not making a weekend of it or anything?
No, we're going down Sunday morning, and then we're coming back
Yeah.
Sunday. So yeah, but yeah,
Nice.
so yeah, exciting times. Yeah,
Amazing. Talking of new shoes as well, have you seen all of the hype about the Adios Pro 4 that has been out and about?
Yes, it's. It looks like it's only available in white, or is that like the prototype? It's everyone's only got it in white at the moment. Did anybody run in it in Berlin?
Yeah, loads of people did. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Loads of people ran in it, but obviously the elites had the choice of the Pro 4 or the Evo.
Yeah.
So I think some of the elites chose the Evo over the Pro 4 just because they knew what that was like. But and I think if I had the choice between a £220 shoe or a £450 shoe, I'd probably go for the 450 too. But it looks really good. But I did see that before it got released, they've got a red with black stripes colorway as well. So I don't know whether when it comes out in January, it'll just be in that white prototype color or whether they'll release the red one as well.
So is it due to be released
January
for spring marathon season, basically? Yeah. For January. Yeah.
Yeah.
So can you see yourself getting to the front of the queue and wanting a fresh pair?
I think I'm going to have to get a pair ready for London next year. Yeah, definitely. They're really exciting. The fact that the geometry's changed as well, and they've moved the rocker forward, so get you up on your forefoot. So you've got a bit more of a spring off your toe off, and they've made a new composition of Light Strike Pro, so it's softer. Right. So that should be interesting to run in as well.
And is it the uppers changed as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, so the upper's more like the Evo. So
it's almost like a really thin, really super lightweight, really super thin, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a one-way mesh, so it only moves one way to lock in your foot. And they've changed the eyelets as well. So do you know on the Pro 3 how it's got those little loops that the laces go through? It's now got eyelets all the way down to the bottom.
Oh, is it? Okay.
So that should be better as well. But yeah, it looks quite exciting.
Yeah.
But there's the other shoe that they're releasing as well, which actually releases this month, which is the Evo SL.
Yeah. So is this the affordable version of the Evo, basically?
Yeah, but I think what Adidas have done is, do you know, like how the Ultra Boost, when it first came out, it was like this revolution in running and foams, and it was the Boost foam was gave you back more than you put into it energy wise, and there was nothing like it when it first came out, and people were amazed by it. I remember my first pair of Boosts when I ran in them for the first time. I was like, this is incredible. I can't believe how good these are, and now they're like
Yeah.
way past technology. But the Ultra Boost went from being a high-end running shoe to a lifestyle shoe.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they're trying to do with the Evo SL, is to hit both the running market and the lifestyle market with the same shoe, because people were saying that they like the look of the Evo, but they would never buy it for that price.
Yeah.
So they're trying to bridge the gap between lifestyle and running. But people who have running it said it's a great running shoe as well, because it's Light Strike Pro throughout the whole sole, but there's no carbon rods. There's a little dog bone shank in there to stiffen it up, but there's no carbon rods or anything. But the Light Strike Pro is the same composition as on the Adios Pro 3. So it's not the new Light Strike Pro. It's the same as the Adios Pro 3 Light Strike Pro, but the whole midsole is Light Strike Pro.
Right.
So it should be really interesting.
And you fancy getting a pair of them as well?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, let's be honest with each other. Yeah, of course.
I'm gonna have to do some saving. Yeah.
Well, who needs food? Yeah.
Exactly.
So, are you considering? I mean, all being well, do you think these Adios Pro 4s will be your London shoe then? It's probably hard to look past that, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, with how well I got on with the Pro 3. If it's an update and everybody's saying how much better they are than the Pro 3, and all of the one of the reviews I watched said all of the issues I had with the Pro 3 have been rectified by the Pro 4, and I haven't got a bad word to say about it.
Right, that's high praise.
Yeah,
but it's like, I guess you just need to get them on your feet, don't you?
Exactly.
There's hype, especially around a new release of a shoe where people have been gifted shoes and have probably been paid to say certain things. So take it with a pinch of salt. But if the specs alone do it for you, then that's probably all you need, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. So
it sounds like it's an improvement on the 3, isn't it? And it's because sometimes some brands, well, this happens a lot, doesn't it? They'll make a new iteration, or they'll go from the Vaporfly or the Alphafly 1 to the 2, and they'll make it worse.
Yeah.
So there is always the gamble that some I don't know what that thing in the brain is, but as soon as a company like Apple or Adidas or Nike or whoever releases something new, you've just got that thing in you that wants to get it. To just, because you think, well, it's new, so it must be better. So you've just got to hope and pray that it is. But if the Adidas Pro 4, the Adios Pro 4 specs and reviews can be believed, it sounds like they will be.
Yeah, fingers crossed. You never know. Yeah, I could get them on and go, oh no, I'll go back to my 3s, but I don't know.
Well,
we shall see.
Well, we've obviously got a few people and things to chat through tonight, including marathons that are being run this weekend. And obviously we had Todd and Carl, the Quiney brothers, last week. So I hope you enjoyed that episode. And thanks for coming on, lads. We really, really enjoyed having you.
Yeah.
Nice. So that they'll be doing Chester this weekend. And what's maybe just mentioned that is I saw, Dawn and John from the 2 Running Brooms.
Yes.
Dawn is definitely racing Chester.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
I'm not sure if John is, but I know she's doing it as part of the England Masters. She's running in the Adios Pro 2s.
Oh.
So yes. I don't know if that's because she prefers the 2s to the 3s, or she doesn't have a pair of 3s. I don't know.
No, she said this at Manchester. She doesn't get on with the 3s as well as the 2s.
Right.
The threes rub a bit in certain places, and they don't quite feel as nice on foot. So she prefers the 2s.
Yeah, I mean, it sort of goes back to what we were saying. Like sometimes the version before the latest version or something like that can be the one that you just. And if you've had good experiences in a certain shoe, like for example, on my trail runs, I haven't invested heavily in my trail shoes at all. In fact, quite the opposite. The trail shoes I wear are these Reebok ones, And I bought my first pair of these for 3 years ago, and they were only about 45 quid or something like that. And I liked them so much, I saw them being advertised again, bought another pair, and I'm still wearing them. The fall into bit, the upper is like garbage. The upper, like, because I get quite bad, I've got quite big bunions. And they've kind of protruded through the upper a little bit on literally both shoes. The same thing has happened. But the foam and the way they feel on my feet, like for example, I did a steady run in them the other day. Like I was doing speeds of like pretty much almost close to marathon pace. And I was like, how am I doing this in these shoes compared to the shoes that cost 300 quid more than them sometimes? And these cost under 50 quid. So sometimes if you've got a shoe that you just really like, that might be all you need to get yourself through a race, because it's sometimes psychological, isn't it?
Yeah. I've got to say how much I'm enjoying running in the SL2s at the moment.
Oh,
the
good.
SL2s, they're such a great little shoe.
I feel like I might have slipped up there getting the Pumas because it was either them or the Adidas, the SL2s.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm just well impressed with them. They feel great at all paces. I did my session on Tuesday in them, and they felt great at like race pace as well as the steady and easy jog there and back.
Oh, so, good.
Yeah, really impressed.
Oh, that's really, really good to hear. Because were they about 100 quid or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just good, isn't it, to feel like you've got value for money. There's nothing. I've had it a couple of times where I've spent. The only time I've really, really felt like I've been a bit shortchanged is when I bought the Nike Pegasus Trail Gore-Tex 4s, because they're not. They might be Gore-Tex, but they're not waterproof.
Yeah.
The amount of times I've taken my shoes off and I've just looked at my feet and they're like soaked. So, but the reason I bought them, the clincher buying those was they've got these like ankle gaiters around the top, which I think is a really nice little addition for a trail shoe. And if I can find something Gore-Tex and with a not a heel collar, with like those gaiters around the top, I think I'd buy them no matter what brand they are. Because well, maybe not no matter what brand they are, but because that's why I haven't bought those Adidas Supernova. What are they called? The trail ones?
Supernova Gore-Tex. Yeah.
But I really, if I'm going to get a Gore-Tex shoe, I really want that heel, because just to stop more debris getting in. Because I take them round. I normally wear them for dog walks and stuff. And when I'm walking through fields that are like swamps, basically, they can really, really help keep the water out. And so that's really the purpose I want a Gore-Tex shoe for, because I think Gore-Tex is not actually that comfortable to run in, because it keeps the water out, but if you've got, let's say, quite thick socks on, or if your feet are getting quite hot, there's nowhere for that moisture to go, and you can get a lot of uncomfortable, you get blisters.
Yeah. So if moisture can't get in, it can't get out either.
Yeah. So you can have problems with Gore-Tex shoes. So yeah, but if anyone listening knows of any likely shoes that I could get, let me know, because I'm on the lookout for some Gore-Tex running shoes at the moment, but I haven't found any. So where should we go with tonight's podcast? Because I'm so conscious about holding you up today, because I feel like you just need to go to bed. Are you? We probably won't go for a PB today. We won't go for a TQ and KQ style 2.5 hour podcasts. So we'll try and get to the point a little bit quicker than usual. So shall we have a recap of Berlin, which was last week, which is the Berlin Marathon, which was run last week, and looked like they had really good weather for it. Conditions look really good, and it's obviously a world major as well. And it's the first world major of like the autumn season. And a lot of people did very well. And there was a couple of people in particular who you listening to this probably already know. So we were going to sort of mention Nick Bester and Philly Bowden, weren't we?
Yeah.
Because they both did super well. So What do you know much about Philly's race? Because I've been reading up about Nick's a little bit.
Yeah, so Philly, basically, she ran a masterclass in pacing, basically. Her pace. I think she negative split it, and she basically was so even with her splits and then kicked it on at the end. And she ran an incredible race. I think she ended up with just over 3-minute PB. Ran a 2:25, and she was 13th woman overall, which is incredible. But she's now number 9 on the UK all-time marathon list.
Wow, that's amazing.
Which is pretty impressive, isn't it?
Yeah. So I know she was really keen to look at the Paris Olympics, wasn't she? That was a target of hers. But maybe she's thinking, actually, hang on.
Yeah.
I could have another good 4 years ahead here.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. And she's still really young. And if you look at the Australian women in the marathon, they're running their best times in their mid to late 30s.
Yeah.
And so all of the Australian ladies that are like going to the Olympics and stuff now are older rather than younger people. So Philly could have a really long career in front of her as a marathon runner.
Yeah, she's by the sounds of things, absolutely smashed last week. Because didn't she overtake like Benner's running at one point?
Yeah,
and because it obviously didn't go too well. Well, not too well, because he still got round in a pretty lightning quick time. But I know he's a bit injured though, isn't he?
Yeah, he ran 2:38, but he went through halfway in like PB pace and then blew up. But he said it didn't blow up because of fatigue of like how he felt. It was just his legs hadn't got the mileage in because he's come back from injury to run Berlin. And obviously this is one of the issues with being being someone who runs and gets sponsored to do certain runs. You've got to, when you sign on the dotted line and say, yes, I will go and run that race for you and film it and advertise it, you've got to turn up really, haven't you? And he wasn't quite prepared. He hasn't put the mileage in that he wanted to for Berlin, but he still went out there and raced it. But he ran through halfway really well. And then I think he put on his Strava, if you want to giggle, have a look at my last few kilometer splits. And he's not running particularly well at the end. But he still ran 2:38. So it's a very respectable time.
Still a championship qualifying time, isn't it? That's still really good. But I guess it's a bit like you saying you just ran a 3:10. It's still fast, but by your standards, it's like not what you are capable of, and you'd probably be disappointed with it. Yeah. So, but fair play to Philly. She sounds like she had an amazing time out there, and sounds like a dream come true. What a race! Sounds like one of those races where everything just went right.
She absolutely smashed it.
And
fair play to her, because she's where she was last year to now, it's been a bit of a whirlwind and a bit of her world's been turned upside down really. But she's come through the other side, and she's now got a new coach. She's now running for On rather than New Balance. With a much better deal, it sounds like. So rather than being a professional runner who runs for a team and trains with a team, she's now sponsored by On, but as a runner slash what's the word? I don't want to say influencer, because she's not really an influencer. Well, she is, but that's not what it is. It's more of a content creator.
Okay.
So she does content creation for On whilst being sponsored by On, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, someone else who did equally well, which you may well have heard of, was Nick Bester. So this guy had 7 attempts over the last 3 or 4 years. I think it's 4 years or 3 years at running a sub 2:20. Now, for context, that is not far off elite level, is it?
Well, if you run sub 2:20, you get to start on the elite start line. at a marathon.
So it is crazily fast, and to finish in kilometer splits anyway, you need to be running faster than, I think it's 3:18 per kilometer for 2 hours 20 minutes.
Yeah, bearing in mind that's my 3K pace.
Yeah, I don't even run that when I final sprint that. Like that's an electrifying amount of pace and effort, but that's years and years of hard work, isn't it? But Nick went again, and it's 7th time lucky, magic number 7, lucky number 7, and he got round in 2 hours 19 and 45, which is just a phenomenal result. He's
pretty incredible.
Looking at his splits here, he made a video about it, by the way, which wouldn't surprise me. It's probably gone viral by now. And a really good video, really well produced, and really got to the why of this whole thing we call running as well, which I really liked. It wasn't just about times; it was about the motivation to do what he does, and I really like that. Yeah. And he just comes across as such a really nice guy, and someone who runs without ego, which I imagine at that level is very, very difficult to do. So he just looking at his splits here. So he did 5K 3:20, 10K 3:18, 20K or the half marathon at 3:20 per kilometer. He's deviating by a second, maybe 2 seconds through the half marathon. So he's run super consistent. 25Ks at 3:20 pace, 30Ks at 3:19, 35K, that split was 3:14. From 30 to 35 at 3:14 per kilometer, and then 35 to 40, 3:16. And then the last, what was that? 2 and a bit K, 3:18 pace. So absolutely annihilated it. And it looks like I would have thought he's definitely done a negative split by what looks like 20 odd seconds or something like that. But what a performance. And
it's incredible.
He's done so well. So
I think sometimes because of his social media presence and how much he is in your face constantly, you forget how much of a good runner he actually is and how talented he is as a runner, because it's very much boom shakalaka and like being in your face as like hit on all of his Instagram posts or on his videos, and you don't really think about how good he is as a runner. But yeah, when you stop to think about what he's just achieved, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I mean, where do you go from there? Because that might be a lifetime best for him. I mean, I'm sure he's just as hungry just to break that now.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, that I think when you're running that level, you literally get 1 or maybe 2 shots of it per year. I mean, because didn't he run Manchester this year as well?
Yeah.
And he did a 2:23 or 2:22, didn't he?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
So, but it looked like at Berlin, conditions looked near enough perfect. Looked like a bright sunny day, but quite cool. So yeah, if anybody listening was at Berlin, we would love to hear from you. Let us know how you got on, what the day was like. Apparently it's broken the record for the most amount of finishes ever, I think.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I think it is now the biggest marathon in the world in terms of finishers. I think it was 55 or 56,000. Oh, I'll have to look. I'll have to Google that. But it was. I'm pretty sure it broke the Paris and New York City records.
Yeah, because it was the 50th anniversary, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So yeah, that's given me another marathon to put on my bucket list. I think I'd like to go and have a look at Berlin one day.
Yeah. So we should probably give a shout out to Donato as well.
Oh yes,
from Worcester, who went over there after not the best of training blocks and still smashed out a 3:07 at the age of 63. So it's pretty impressive, isn't it?
How on earth do you do that? Like have a sort of a training block that's a bit meh, and then you come up with a 3:07. So again, for context, I think his PB at Manchester was 3:06. So he's only a minute slower with
Was it 3:06 or was it a bit closer than that? Was it 3:02 or something like
Oh, was it? Oh God, right, okay. So, but even that, he's obviously ran really, really well. So, yeah, absolutely, massive fair play
that? Yeah.
for pulling that one out the bag. And the dude's 63, man. I hope I'm still running when I'm 63. Especially, I'll just be happy to be running, let alone running fast.
Yeah.
But I think he said it's his last marathon, but he's just qualified for New York now.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah, everyone says that. Oh, it's my last race. It's my last marathon.
Yeah.
It's my last race. Oh, just one more. Go on, just one more. So
I said that when I broke 3:30.
Really?
Then, yeah. When in 2016 when I broke 3:30, I went, that's it. I'm done with marathons now.
Yeah.
But yeah, they always come a calling and yeah, bring you back.
Is that when you had your 5-year hiatus from marathons?
Yeah.
And then you did your 3:29, didn't you?
The 3:28. Yeah.
And then you didn't run one for 7 years or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, 2016, and the next one I ran was 2023. So
yeah, amazing. That's
yeah.
pretty cool. Do you know? Have you ever met Lawrence Howells?
Yeah.
He ran Newport Marathon with me in April, and that was his first marathon in 25 years. So he did marathons in his younger years in the 90s, and then he just thought, nah, don't ever want to bother doing the one again. And then all of a sudden, he's sort of, I don't know. I don't think he's 50. I would like to guess, actually. He might be 50, actually. I think he's one of those guys that looks about younger than me. He looks about 32.
Yeah.
I think he might be about 50. I'm not sure. But he did his first marathon in nearly, I think it's well over 20 years. So amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. Amazing how people come back to it. So
yeah, definitely. But
so yeah.
Shall we? So that was Berlin Marathon. Shall we move on to, because we haven't done this for a couple of weeks, and because my throat's a little bit sore right now, I'm going to let you do a load of talking and talk about your marathon training.
Shall I talk about it last week's, the week before's as well?
Yeah.
So yeah, all right. Well, I'll go back to Saturday Parkrun. So that was the last time we all convened. So Saturday, it was I couldn't really call it my birthday Parkrun, but a few days before, it was Thursday. That was my birthday. I was 39. I thought, right, birthday Parkrun. Let's have a go at it, but let's choose like a fun one to do. So I chose Worcester Woods, which is, for anyone that knows Worcester Woods, there's two in Worcester. There's Pitchcroft and Worcester Woods. Pitchcroft is the fast and flat one around the race course, aka the slightly dull one, and Worcester Woods, which is a lot more fun. It's been changed recently because the course has gone from more like a cross-country course, and it's been moved to just purely around the woodlands. And there's a little bit of a route around the rather 60s architecture of the council houses, or the council. What is it?
County Hall.
County Hall. That's it. Yeah, and it's that's where it starts and finishes, but it mainly goes into the woods, which is really nice. And I said to Brett, I'm going to have a go at it. And you were like, what shoes should I bring? And I said, go for the Takumis. I'm wearing my Takumis. We'd had about 5 straight days of rain, so I felt a little bit guilty saying that, but we both turned up in our Takumis, and I think it was probably a good shout because
it was, yeah.
The underfoot wasn't too bad. And as everyone knows, I've been really, really trying hard for my sub 20 5K. I knew it wouldn't have happened at Worcester Woods because it's a hard course anyway. There's a little bit it's quite hilly. There's a couple of nasty hills in there, including the first 500 meters, and yeah. So it was. I was just really pleased that it went well. So I managed to get round in 21 minutes and 15 seconds, which, funnily enough, is not even my slowest attempt at a 5K sub 20. So I did a sub 20 attempt in Edgbaston, which was about, I don't know, 6-8 weeks ago. I think it might have been in like week 1 of training. And I did 21:30 there. And that was a fast, flat tarmac one. And then I did a hilly, basically, trail, and I did 21:15.
That marathon training and marathon fitness is coming.
It's got a lot to answer for, isn't it? It really does. And considering last week was fairly high in volume as well, and I was at the end of that week, I was really, really pleased to have done really well. So that's an average split for me of 4 minutes 15 seconds a K. The magic number is obviously 3:59 or 4 minutes, but I was just so genuinely so pleased with it, because I mean, looking at my splits, if they can be believed anyway. My splits were, if I could just grab them, my splits were 4:13, 4:20, 4:34, 4:28, and 4:08. So I don't think that quite adds up to 4:15 average. So I think something's gone wrong with the GPS there, because at one point, Beardy Rich looked at his watch and he had like a 6.5 minute kilometer, and he finished a minute ahead of me. So I don't know how accurate the trees make your lap splits on that course, but that's by the by. I got round in 21:14, which I was really pleased with. So then it got to Sunday, and I'd done all my training block maths, and I realised I'm going to have to do a long run because I wanted to hit 80K. So I did 25K around the lane. Where did I go? Yeah, I went around the lanes. So I did 2 hours and 28 with an average pace of 5:56. Now, I specifically remember thinking to myself, we'll start out easy and we'll see how we go. And then every kilometre that was ticking by, I was like, right, just one more. And then I thought, I'm just going to keep it easy all day, because we've said this on this podcast before. Even though it's just a 5K hard really takes it out of you, doesn't it? It really saps you. And I just couldn't get going on the Sunday. I just couldn't get moving. So I just thought, right, let's just cut our losses, keep it nice and easy, and just try and enjoy the low heart rate stuff, and just try and just get the distance done. Because that's what I didn't want to just go a bit faster and just bonk at 10K. So I thought there's no point doing that. And we're not even doing marathon pace yet. We're only doing steady. So I thought, let's keep it easy, which is what I did. Finished the run, 25K, did it in, like I said, 2.5 hours. Just slightly slower than that 4-hour marathon pace. And it was 255 meters of elevation that day. So really pleased with that. So that got me up to 80K. And then it takes me to Monday. Monday, I just felt completely different. Monday, I just wanted to go. Monday is normally my easy recovery day. And I just thought, no, let's see what we can do, basically. So I put my Saucony Endorphin Speed 3s on, and I did a progression run. I actually set off to do an easy run, and then second K was a bit quicker. And I started the third K, and I thought, yeah, it's going to be a progressive for this one, isn't it? Let's just give in and just do a progression run. And I went all the way from easy all the way up to 10K pace, which I was really, really pleased with. And the 10th K or the 11th K, however many I did that day, 10, the last K was up a hill as well. And it just sod's law that it was the fastest one. And I remember just thinking, okay, this is getting hard now. I'm probably getting a bit cocky. I think I've reached my level now. Yeah. But my graph that I created, I mean, you could argue that like any of Da Vinci's, artworks, and probably not as beautiful as that. Look at that.
Pretty impressive, yeah.
That is the best thing I've ever created in my life. So it's just a lovely little stairway, and really, really pleased. And that was a 10K progression run. And then that set me up for a nice chilled day off, Tuesday, rest day. And then Wednesday was my double day, and headed out for a 10K with Daisy. So we did a little run around the lanes. I was going to do a hill run, which I normally do on Wednesday mornings. but decided to just do sort of run around the lanes because it was really gusty, and I just thought it's a bit shady taking Daisy up the hills when it's like 25-mile-an-hour winds. So I've put here no hill run at the Malverns as usual on my Wednesday morning. Looked too windy. Local lane circuit for me and Daisy. I can't believe how well I'm getting up and down these hills. Sounded a bit cocky now. I used to be on the verge of nausea, but now I feel like I can glide up them. Who do I think I am saying this? Hopefully will come in handy on Sunday at mile 12 for Cardiff. Apparently it's got a heartbreaker right at the end. But this is when I wore my trail shoes, and all of a sudden I found myself running steady in my trail shoes. So I was running sort of close to 8-minute miles, or what I call Newport pace. That's pretty much what I ran Newport at. And I remember just thinking, wow, this just feels great. I'm going up these hills. I mean, it helps that I've got a dog who's mad for it, and she just loves bolting up hills, and she just pulls me. But obviously, I've got to do the legwork, so I've got to get up there. But it just felt really good, considering I'd done that progressive run and then the 25K and then the 5K a day before that. And then I did S&C. Can you believe it? I literally did an S&C straight after. I got back, and then I bonked because I did one of my workouts, which is just a resistance thing, and I'm still feeling it today. Absolutely crucified my hamstrings. A lot of dips, a lot of what was it? A lot of squats and lunges and things like that. And it just reiterates how weak my hamstrings are. But I didn't even finish it. I actually bailed. It was a 30-minute class, and I did 22 minutes. So for the last 8 minutes, I just sat on the sofa and watched them. I managed to do 22 minutes, which I thought was better than nothing, considering I'd just done that run just before it.
Yeah.
And then I know what's coming as well, which is track. So Wednesday night did track, and the session was I decided to follow the marathon set this time rather than the hard fast set, because the coach had actually put a 5K set in this time, which he never normally does. It's normally 10K or half. And the 5K sets were 200s harder than zone 5, basically. And then 200 recovery. I think that was times 5. And then it was an easy 400 and 2 or 3 sets of that, something like that. But I didn't really pay too much attention, because I thought if I read it too intently, I'll end up doing it. So I didn't even look at it. Instead, I went for the long set, which were 2 times 1,000 meters zone 4, which I interpreted as sort of half marathon pace, with 200-meter jog recoveries, 1 times 1,600, which is basically a mile. So it's 4 laps at zone 3, so slightly slower. Then 400 meters easy. And I've said here, I'm really enjoying, by the way, the notes section in Strava, because I'm literally logging as soon as I'm editing my shoes and the track, the specifics. I always jot down a few notes, and I'm glad I didn't go for the 5K and 10K set, as this morning's run and S&C workout have taken its toll. Hoping I haven't ruined my legs for Sunday's half marathon. But I managed to do really well. So the way I did that set, I only did 2 sets because they're such long reps. I thought, no need to worry about it really. So the actual, if I just look at the reps, I did the first 2 kilometers, first 2 1,000s at marathon pace. And then I did the mile, the 1,600 meters at Newport pace, at that sort of steady pace. It was slightly faster than steady.
Yeah.
And then the second set I did at half marathon pace. And then I did the mile at marathon pace. So I sped up by 15 seconds each.
Yeah, nice.
For the second set. So I thought that was a good shout, because like I said, I was starting to really feel it. Thursday, which was yesterday, had the day off. And then today, maybe rather stupidly, I don't know, but I don't think it's stupid because of what I saw this morning. I saw the most glorious sunrise up the Malverns. I went for my hill run, which I couldn't do on Wednesday, because I thought, no, I don't want to just lose my hill run because I didn't do it Wednesday. So I thought I'll do it today. So today, I tell you why I did it. It's stupid, because there was a drone shot I really wanted to get, and it was about 9 or 10K away.
Yeah.
And I forgot I'd have to run double that to get back to the car. So I did my drone shot at like 9K and thought, oh God, I've got 7K to get back. Why did I do that? So I ended up doing 17K today, which is 10 and a half, 11 miles. Elevation 616 meters. And I was out on feet for about, what was that? 1 hour 52. But my average pace was 6:37 and my gap pace was 5:43. So I was just, but the thing was, obviously the hills were a little bit obviously difficult. But without sounding like I'm getting cocky, I felt like I was doing all right up the hills.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I felt like I was just sort of not gliding. I mean, that probably was hyperbole. I shouldn't really have said that. But I just felt like I was just managing these hills so much better than I was 2 months ago, 10 weeks ago. And this marathon training just really genuinely feels like it is working. And I just honestly, like, this morning's run was just, it was spectacular because we got up there at 7 o'clock and the sun rises at like 5 past. And there was this low-lying ground fog. There was a lovely little sort of cloud, inversion.
Your photos were incredible. Your photos that you put on Strava and Instagram were incredible.
The light this morning was just wonderful. It really was, and it was just like, and you'll be pleased to know that I ran from the beacon to British Camp, and at British Camp is where I wanted to do my drone shot. 'Cause, you know, I've told you about this drone that I've got that follows you. Well, luckily, I was on the right side of the hills where there was no wind this morning, and I got my hero shot of it following me with the outline. You know, when you're a kid and you used to draw mountains and hills, and you just draw them like that, and you draw an occasional seagull, like an upside down V. It was just like that. It was just sort of picture postcard perfect. So that was really good. And it's just like trails. I just think are so good for the mind. They're such a good cleanser of the mind, and it's like it's just so good getting the hills in your legs, the hills for your hammies and your quads, but you're getting the scenery for your mind, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of that's the way I look at these hill runs. They're doing me like a double good, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I genuinely enjoy them for the physical part of it, but also for sounds like a buzzword, but it feels like sort of meditative, and it feels quite nice. So yeah.
Amazing. That's a good week of training, dude.
Target for me is 85K this week. So with a parkrun sandwich tomorrow and the half marathon with a warm up or a cool down or both, that will take me to just over 85. So
amazing.
So yeah, it's been good so far. So hopefully my legs just won't like sort of fall off or anything like that tomorrow. So if I get if I bonk on Sunday, it was the S&C that ruined it.
Yeah. Of course it
so
was.
I won't do it for another 6 weeks.
Yeah. Before we carry on, I'm just going to run to the loo. Ryan, we're back. That's the problem with being ill. It's even more important to stay hydrated than normal, but you constantly have to go to the loo.
Yeah.
But there we go. So my week of training this week has been interesting. It started off pretty good. We went over to Worcester Woods Parkrun, and I really enjoyed that new course that they've set up. The fact it doesn't go through that field anymore and it's all through the woods is pretty good. But I set off from the line, and I thought, right, I'm stood on the front line with everybody, and I thought I'll let them go off and see what pace they go out at, and see if I can stick on behind them, and then see where we go. So we set off, and everybody did that to me. So I led the first mile, and then after the first mile, somebody went round me and started to go off, and I thought, okay, I'll just let them have a little bit and see how they go. And then as we got round to the second lap, we started going up the hill, and I started catching him up the hill, and I thought, okay, cool. Started catching him. We'll just try and push on the pace now for this last mile and see if we can catch him. But the woods is an interesting bit on the second lap because there's so many people in there. It's quite like difficult to get round people and stuff, and some people don't know you come in, so they're like they don't quite move over so quickly, and they've got just as much right to be there as I have. So I'm not complaining that people are there, but at some points I did have to stop and do a big like tight twist around people and things. So as we came out towards the finish, I just ran out of road, so ended up coming second, which I was pretty pleased with.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So I did 18:16. So yeah, pretty pleased with that. And I'd say from the effort that I put in, I'd say Ara Valley, that would have got me a 17:30, 17:40, something like that, for that sort of effort. So it's about 30, 40 seconds slower, I think, as a course.
Yeah.
So for you to run a 21:15 there, that's a really good run.
Yeah. I was mega pleased with it. I think we both did quite well. I think you weren't expecting to place so highly up there, and
no, definitely not.
You ended up doing really well. How far off? How far ahead was the person in first?
At the end, as it went over the line, 3 seconds. So,
oh wow! I thought you were going to say it was like 15, 20 or something. Oh, so it was really. And what about the person behind you? Were you being pushed for?
I think third? I think he was another 5 or 6 seconds behind me.
Right.
So,
okay.
But yeah, I was catching the guy in first, but I just ran out of road. So
yeah.
But no, it was good.
Good run.
Good run.
Really good run.
But then obviously because I'd driven over to Worcester for that, we'd done the warm up before, but we didn't do a warm down afterwards. So when I got home in the afternoon, I decided to go out and do top up my mileage for the Saturday. So I went and did another 10k, but I did exactly what you did and set off expecting to do just a like a nice steady run, and the second mile was a little bit quicker, and I just thought I'll just keep on pushing this now, and I'll try and do a progressive 10k, and my progressive 10k looks like that.
Nice.
So snap.
Lovely. Nice.
So yeah, pretty pleased with that, and got down to, on the last 0.2 of a mile, got down to 5:48 pace, so about 10k pace. So yeah, pretty pleased with that. Started off with an 8-minute mile and got down to 5:48 pace. So yeah, pretty good.
Decent.
But then on Sunday went out for my long run, and I thought I'll just go and do 13 mile. That would do for the day. And then the route I took ended up being a bit further than I expected, and I think subconsciously I was just searching for hills without knowing it. So I ended up doing 16 miles in the end, an average of 7:18 a mile, in 1 hour 56 and 57 seconds, with 1,286 foot of elevation. So what's that in feet? About 400 foot.
400 meters.
400 meters. Sorry, 400 meters. Yeah. So ended up being quite hilly, but pretty pleased with that. And then Monday was my nice easy recovery miles up to my shop and back. And then on Tuesday I went down to B&R session, and as I say, I felt a little bit run down, a little bit fluey, but I still felt okay. I just thought I was tired because haven't had a huge amount of sleep over the last couple of weeks from being busy and stuff. So I just thought I was a bit run down and tired. So went down to the session, and road sessions are back. So we've now got to the autumn and winter season. So road sessions are back. So we did did the Volvo loop, which is called the Volvo loop because it used to start and finish at the Volvo garage, but the Volvo garage doesn't exist anymore. Now it's a old people's home. So so it's a Volvo loop, but it's a 2k loop around the roads, and we alternate the direction that we go. So we did 4 2k loops with about 300 meters ish recovery between, and I thought I'd use it as a bit of a tune up for Sunday and see if I could hit 10k pace for those 2K loops, because it was like 4 lots would be 8K of effort. And I set off and I hit basically target pace for Sunday for the first 2K. So I ran the first 2K in 7 minutes. So that was, what's that, 3:30 a K or 5:39 a mile. And then I think the rundown fatigue hit me a little bit. So I ran the next one in 7:15 at 5:49 a mile pace. The next one at 7:20 at 5:54 a mile pace, and the last one at 7:22 or 5:55 a mile pace. So still not too bad, pretty decent, pretty happy with that. But yeah, I could tell that I wasn't 100%. And then Wednesday, obviously, it hit me. And then yesterday, I thought, because it's just in my head, I'll go out for session, and we did a steady run with the club, and I felt pretty good, and I was moving pretty well. So I ended up doing 10.25 miles at an average of 7:24 a mile. But yeah, it was pretty good. But then after that, I feel not very good today. So yeah,
today's
we'll see the rest of the week.
Friday's normally a rest day. Wednesday and Fridays are your rest days, aren't they?
Yeah. So I wouldn't have run today anyway. But yeah, so it's been good that it has been a rest day today, because I don't think I'd have gone for a run today anyway.
I mean, obviously it's in your throat and your voice in your chest, but have you got that behind the eye pressure? Like got that sinusy?
I did have on Wednesday night, and all of Wednesday night I couldn't breathe through my nose. It was properly blocked. All my sinuses were blocked. But now that's all clear, and I've now got a runny nose because it's not blocked, but it's all gone into my throat.
Have you been letting nature take its course, or have you been like dosed up to the eyeballs, or have you been?
No, I don't. I'm not a massive fan of taking medication when I don't need
really?
it. Yeah, right. I'm more, I'll let my body recover from it, and next time it won't be so bad because it will have built up a resistance to it, rather than letting drugs do their job. I'd rather my body learn to live with it. So
yeah. So sometimes I imagine you kind of just have to ride the storm.
Yeah.
And just weather the storm, basically, and just get through it. Yeah.
But I mean, so if I could swallow without it hurting, I'd be all right. But it's just, that's just not very nice.
So you just got that sandpapery Phil Mitchell kind of sound. Yeah.
But it's all good. But
you sound like you should be in like some sort of like gangster film or something, like you and Ray Winston.
Yeah.
But
with all my with all the running I did last week, I managed to hit a 61.5 mile. So that's almost 100K for the week. So I was pretty pleased with where I was last week and where things were going. But obviously this has had a bit of an effect, and we'll see what the rest of the weekend brings. But
so I was going to say, if we pretend that you're not ill, in an ideal world, what would your weekend look like? Would it just be down to Parkrun, run Parkrun, and then?
Yeah, so I'm going down to Parkrun tomorrow, and then run down there, and then run back, and that would be my Saturday mileage done. And then Sunday would be go out at race pace and see what happens. But I don't know. See how I feel.
Again, pretending that you're not ill, what would your routine for pre-race day look like? Because a lot of people, whenever I've gone, I remember I went to a really cool parkrun this time last year when I did Yorkshire. I went to Fountains Abbey, which is just a phenomenal parkrun if anyone ever gets a chance to do that. And I remember talking to a fair few people saying, I've got Yorkshire Marathon tomorrow. So many people were like, what are you doing here? Why are you doing a 5K? But it's like, for me, that's exactly what I like to do. I really like to do a shakeout the day before a marathon, because you feel like, especially if you're in a bit of a taper as well, you feel almost like you've got this sort of not pent up energy, but that's exactly what it is, really. You just feel like you need to just run. And I think like a little shakeout with, I mean, I even do some strides at the end. Like that's what I normally like to do the day before a race.
Yeah. See, if I was running a marathon, I'd probably only run the 5K, only run the parkrun the day before. But all other distances, I'll go and run 10 mile the day before. I'll go and do easy down to parkrun, run parkrun steady, and then do easy back home. Yeah.
It's sometimes not the actual, well, a lot of the time, it's not the distance, it's the intensity, isn't it, that makes the difference.
Exactly.
So you can probably get, like you say, run 10 mile or 10K or at least a park run. Just don't run it really hard. Yeah. Or don't run more than 20% of it at race pace. You know, you don't have to, you won't gain anything that late or that close to a race.
Exactly.
All you can
all you can do is damage your race by doing too much. Yeah. But the too much would be intensity rather than, Yeah.
So I think that's what I'm going to do tomorrow. I'm going to do a parkrun sandwich tomorrow, which will normally be probably about 13K, about 9 miles. And then tomorrow, by the way, I'm pacing, or me. Well, I don't know if Mac has actually agreed to this and Rich, but one of our local Worcester muckers, Ben Pinfield, his progression of running has been insanity. So he first came down to parkrun in about, I don't know, Christmas last year. And he was running 33 minute parkrun, something like that. But I've never known someone get the bug so badly as he got it.
Yeah.
So he instantly joined a club. He instantly joined Black Pair Joggers. And he just started doing track, all the good stuff that you should be doing, not should be, but all the good stuff you could take advantage of doing through a club. He does. So he does all the, the guided, not guided runs, but the group runs during the week, does the track and all that sort of stuff. And he's got his 5K time down now. So far, he's asking me, Rich and Mac to pace him tomorrow to 24 minutes. So he's got nearly about 10 minutes in less than a year off his 5K time.
It's pretty good, isn't it?
It's amazing. It's ridiculously, his commitment to it is, his body is completely changed. His attitude to everything is completely changed. He's just a great bloke. And I really, really hope it goes well for him tomorrow. No matter what happens, I hope he just has a moment of saying, it's like, I'm having these conversations with you about doing a sub 20 5K. It's like, I can't still believe I'm looking at a 20-minute parkrun.
Yeah.
And I hope Ben has that moment as well, thinking, bloody hell, I'm going to go for a 24-minute parkrun. Like, that's some serious progress. So hopefully that'll whatever happens tomorrow, that'll be good fun.
Yeah, run well tomorrow, dude. I hope it goes well. Yeah.
And so that'll be good. And the good thing is about that as well, it's perfect because we looked at the pacing and it's exactly marathon pace for me. So I can do my parkrun sandwich and do marathon pace and just ignore what I was saying about intensity the day before a race. But it's the sandwichy bit, the bread of the sandwich will be nice and easy. Just the actual parkrun. But I'm on official pacing duty, so it doesn't count.
Yes,
so,
exactly.
Yeah.
It's a steady run. Yeah.
It's just steady. It's 2 seconds slower than marathon pace, so it's steady. It's not marathon pace.
Yeah.
So, but it's also important to have your excuses lined up for why you didn't do a good half marathon as well.
Exactly.
So if it goes wrong Sunday, I'm going to blame it on Ben.
It's S&C and Ben. Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to do in my weekend. So
amazing. So, on that note, shall we now move on to emails? Have you got the emails up?
Yeah, I can have them in a jiffy. So we had a couple of people. Right, I'll just quickly rattle through a couple. So, shall we start with? Have we read this one? James Sleet. On the 23rd of September, he wrote in. Said, "Hi, Brett and Andy. Thanks for reading out my email a few weeks ago regarding which shoes to go for his 20-miler. Think I'm going to go for comfort, but still not sure. Speaking of comfort, check these out below. I know Brett was talking about his Grinch trainers, so he thought he might like these. So if anybody's listening,
Grinch slippers.
James is wearing his Grinch slippers. No need to wait till Christmas for those bad boys. And he said also you were asking which races people had coming up, and thought you might like to know about the Hertfordshire Half Marathon, which I'm running, which is early November. It's around the grounds of Nebworth. I know Andy's a massive Oasis fan, so I thought he might like that. It has a fairly few harsh hills, so probably not a PB course, but you never know. Anyway, keep up the great content and good luck with all your runs coming up this week. I had no idea. There was a race around Nebworth. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
For the famous Oasis 1996 gig.
You could do it like you said, dressed up as Liam Gallagher doing the walk.
So in the sunshine. Are you going to do sub 3? Maybe. Yeah, that sounds a lot of fun, James. All the best with that. When did you say that is November? So yeah, hope training is going well for that. It's a half marathon, sorry. Hope training is going well for the half marathon for that. And hope you get good weather, because it's a bit of a lottery for November races in this country, isn't it? So hopefully you get some nice autumnal weather. Matthew Morris wrote back in. We mentioned him last week, who did the Stoke-on-Trent, I think it's called the Potter's Half marathon in Stoke-on-Trent. And Matt was the guy who had been injured for a considerable amount of time. First race in 15 months. And he wrote back in last week to say, thanks for the mention on the episode. It was awesome. 5th time doing my home race, and got a course PB by 9 minutes.
What?
To come in at 1:30, as in 1 hour 30 and 9 seconds. Wow. I never expected to get near 1:30, as it's a challenging course, which Brett would enjoy. And he's put, running is my happy place when other things go wrong. Good luck for Cardiff, Andy. And yeah, he said he might be able to see us at Alton Towers, because it's in his neck of the woods. So yeah, well done, mate. That's incredible
work,
running.
Matt. Yeah, that's amazing. So close to that breaking that 1:30. So yeah, amazing work, mate.
We've got one more email that's coming today from Stuart McKillop. Now, Stuart was the guy that wrote in originally at the first week of September, and he wrote a really honest and open email about his mental health, and and a lot of people have it's resonated with a lot of people. And he's written in again. He says, thanks, Andy and Brett, for reading out my email. You guys are just a pleasure to watch and listen to. I hope your journey takes you far in the YouTube universe. You both deserve it. It's just wonderful for us to listen to and watch great normal content, which isn't done for the wrong reasons. Even though I must say, especially to you, Andy, as I try to follow your footsteps and go running with my dog Polly, never again. The twatometer went into overdrive, which resulted in one unexpected squirrel and one twat of a dog Polly, and one me who was very nearly decapitated. Know the feeling very well, my friend. Know the feeling very well. Also jumping with joy as I got a place in the Great North Run next year.
Oh, amazing.
How are the Stuart, man? After 5 years of trying, hopefully see you up there, Andy. Don't worry, not a stalker. Winky face. Thanks again. Wishing you both all the best. Yeah, cheers, Stu. Nice one, mate.
Amazing. Thanks, man.
Great to hear from you. And see you in the Toon next year, if not before.
Yeah, amazing. So I'm going to go back through our comments, which I'm not sure we've done any for a long time.
Do you want me to do it, to give your voice a rest? Or are you...
I'll do the first few and then see how we get on.
It's so sinister. Dear Brett and Andy.
Yeah.
Love the podcast.
So, first one is from back in episode 34 from our Worcester half recap.
Yep.
And it's from Gavin Miskelly. And he says, RE upcoming marathons. I've got Amsterdam after a 20-week training block. Tried to keep hold of fitness from a spring marathon, hoping for a first sub 4 at 60 years old. Amazing.
Wow. So, amazing.
Yeah, run well at Amsterdam, Gavin. That is coming up 2 weeks on Sunday.
Oh, so jealous. What a race. You'll have such a good time. Such a good race.
Then our next one is from Thomas O'Connell. And it says, "Hi there. Well done on the great content. I'm training for half marathon in November. Current PB is 78:30. My times in general are very similar to Brett. Just wondering what sessions he does that works for the half marathon. Thanks." So half marathon specific sessions, I'm not really sure. I would say, obviously, you need to do some threshold sessions where you hold in threshold pace for a decent amount of time in some blocks, because threshold pace should be about your half marathon pace. But I'd also say some tempo runs are really important. So like marathon pace runs, just to get that cardio endurance going. So along with your long runs, you've got to have that Sunday long run just to get that mileage in your legs. But I would say half marathon specific, you need to do some threshold pace blocks within runs. Tempo runs are always good, and then obviously some faster than half marathon pace efforts within a session in the week as well. But you don't want to overdo it. So when you're doing the longer races like half marathon and marathon, you don't want to be doing too many sessions during the week. Whereas when you're doing the shorter races like 3 and 5K, you can have a bit more effort during the week. Whereas for the longer races, I think you want to keep it to maybe 2 sessions a week, depending on how many days you run in a week. But I run 5 days a week, and I like to keep maybe two of those days harder sessions and the rest a bit easier.
Yeah. Do you want me to take any? How's the voice? Do you need to take a glass of water?
Well, if you want to go for the next one, that'd be good.
Should I Mark Hurdy-Gurdy's?
Yeah, that's the one.
Right. Okay. So Mark Hurdy-Gurdy has Mark Hurd, for anyone that thinks his actual name is Hurdy-Gurdy. I've just bought a pair of Adidas Adizero SL2. They're an excellent shoe and so versatile. Funnily enough, you were talking about them earlier. I own a pair of Puma Deviate Nitro 2, which I love, but I have to say that the SL2 is better. Brackets. Sorry, Andy. I think I know. I just know.
Yeah.
That's quite a statement, as I love my Deviate Nitro V2. I think the SL2 will replace my Pumas as mainly a long run shoe as well as moderate runs. I do an interval session in them I did an interval session in them this week and they were excellent. My only negative is that I've found that the ventilation in the toe box not to be great, but we are coming into winter, so that could be a bonus to keep your feet warm.
Yeah. They're such a good pair of shoes. I'm really impressed. So yeah, it's good. Then we are back onto our Worcester episode, and this one is from good old Leggett Lee.
Yes,
because we mentioned that Adam and Dan Neil both ran really well at Worcester, but the only Neil brother that wasn't there was Leggett Lee, and he
I love that Lee was that confident that his time would be it would be safe, that he had the day off. He still didn't feel the need to turn up to defend his crown.
And he says, as the fastest brother in the family, they've still got the best part of 3 minutes to make up on me, lads. Winky face. Plus, I'm back to full fitness too. Plus, I'm on my way back to full fitness too. They better keep on getting on their gym sessions.
It's all about them genetics, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you want to go for old Gary Mander's comment?
Yeah. So, right, you pair of doubting Thomases. I did some checking, and the runner's name. Have we read this one? No. And the runner's name, who exposed himself, was Abdelhad El Hartiz, Morocco. He was a Moroccan runner who was running in the ambulant class, which is a disabled class. Apparently, he didn't realise he was exposing himself, and a lady took a pic of him on the finishing straights and reported it. Apparently, his seam had given way. Reported in Metro April 24, 2017. It's evidence, not my imagination. We're not doubting you, mate. We're just finding it very, very convenient that this guy didn't realise. My seam had broken, was it? So
brilliant.
Yeah. Good story, though. Good story.
Yeah. And then our next one is from Matt Rose. He said Gordon Ramsay apparently challenged his kids to beat his marathon time when they ran London, which is brilliant. When you know you've done a good time, you can go on then, kids. Go on, try.
Shout out to Matt, by the way, who mentioned us on his recent YouTube video. Matt is having like a resurgence of fitness at the moment after having a little bit of a time off, that the hard training, and he's been putting the sessions back in, and I would really recommend going to watch Matt Runs 18's videos. He's a really good lad, really good guy, and thanks for giving us a shout out on your video, mate.
Yeah, amazing. Thanks, Matt.
So what we got now? Stephen Smith. Yes. Now he's put great pound once again, guys. I'm running the Loch Ness Marathon, which is on the same day. So this is in the past because that's already happened. I'm running the Loch Ness Marathon, which is on the same day as Berlin and several others. It's my home race and a must on my fixture list. Hoping for a sub 320 and to get as close to the 315 I got 2 years ago. But we'll see how things go on the day, given it's my third marathon this year. Whoa. After London and Edinburgh. Wow. I'm gonna have to literally find out how he got on. I wonder if he writes. Yeah, well, I'll find out how Stephen got on.
Okay,
and you can read on.
I was going to say exactly that. I would like to know how he got on. So next comment is from Lee Chesterton, and he says the most famous person I beat was world boxing heavyweight champion Frank Bruno in a 10K race back in the late 80s, early 90s. He sprinted the first 200 meters and was blowing when I passed him a little while later. Would have loved a selfie with him, but they hadn't been invented then. Big Frank definitely wasn't built for 10Ks. Also, the best prize I won was a 3 weeks holiday in a caravan in Devon. The race took part around the campsite and was about 1.5 miles long. So I lined up with the mums and dads and kids, eyeing up any runner that might look a little bit useful. The camp's redcoat, who fancied himself as a decent runner, would usually be my main rival. I would wait until the last 50 meters, then sprint past him to win. After a few years of me doing this, the redcoat increased the distance to about 3 miles, which was about 10 laps of the camp. As we entered the last 200 meters, the redcoat said, "Let's run and finish this together like the 1981 London Marathon," which I agreed to. But as we jogged to the finish, he suddenly took off in an attempt to win. I thought, you little so-and-so, but to his disappointment, I managed to do him again on the line and win. It may have only been a campsite race, but a win's a win. Unfortunately, I could never claim my prize as the holiday was in late September and my kids couldn't have the time off school.
Oh.
P.S. My wife and I met Brett's mum and dad at the Redditch Carnival, had a nice chat about Brett, cars and motorbikes. Lovely people. Keep up the great pod, lads. As a gardener, there's nothing better to while away a couple of hours while I'm cutting and mowing.
Nice one.
Yeah, thanks so much for the comment, Lee. Mum and Dad did mention that you'd met him and had a chat. So, thanks for the kind words, mate.
I've just found Stephen's time. So he wanted 320, but he came in with a 322. But
good.
And he said it's his second fastest Loch Ness. Really chuffed with the time, considering I've done another 3 marathons this year to take my overall total to 17. Other than it being Baltic at the start, it was a near perfect day, if not slightly warm. Now, looking at this elevation, it looks like net downhill for the first bit, but then you get to 30K and there's like a 1 or 2 mile long hill. And I've read about this. I think they call it the Monster. And it literally looks like it's 2 miles long. And it looks like it's just a marathon killer.
That's horrendous.
It seems like a really good
that sounds
race.
Horrendous.
It does sound horrendous, but I would love to do the Loch Ness marathon one day because it really genuinely does look beautiful. And I know obviously Stephen lives up that way, so that's obviously why he's been doing it. But I'd love to join you on the start line to Loch Ness one day because it sounds like a real humbling one.
Still a great time though, 3:22.
Yeah. I'd be delighted with 3:22. I know I've got my sights on something similar, but 3:22, that's really quite incredible. And his pacing looked like it was bang on the money for the whole thing. So
perfect.
So yeah, he even managed a really fast 4:15 pace to last 200-meter sprint.
Nice.
So he's done himself very proud. So well done, mate.
Nice.
So where do we get to? Do we got to most famous person?
Yeah.
Shall I go with Andy, or do you want to go with Andy's?
Yeah, no, you go with Andy. Go for it.
Right. Awesome job on the PBs. Love the long pods. Keep them up. I'm in training for a half in November, and then hopefully Newport Marathon next year. Loved your race vlog from there, Andy. Happy to hear any other course tips that you have. Well, with Newport, just remember that it's a fairly, if it is the same course,
it'll be slightly shorter next year, though.
Yeah, it will definitely be 200 meters, half a mile shorter, or whatever it was. But there's a loop. So basically, it's an out and I wouldn't say it's an out and back. It's like a 3 or 4 mile out into the countryside, and then it's like 2 8-mile laps. So just remember that. Get your head around that. And also, I would massively recommend hill training, because I fell into the camp of, well, it's a flat marathon, so I don't need to do any hill work, which I wish I'd have done more of, which is what I'm doing now, because I know Valencia is very flat, apparently. But hills pay the bills, don't they? And don't think that just because it's flat, you don't need to do any, which is stupid advice, considering most people do hills. But just remember that it's a marathon. And yes, it's flat, but it's a hard distance to run. But the course itself, some people said it was quite dull. I quite enjoyed the course. There's little to no support for a long period of the time. So again, if you're a sort of person that buzzes off London Marathon and Tower Bridge and the Great North Run, those sort of atmospheres, then just get into the mindset of it's quite a lonely marathon at times, because you'll be on your own for long periods of time. You can even think about taking music with you, or take your earphones and listen to one of our podcasts, or maybe a couple of them. But yeah, just know it for what it is, which is not a megalily well supported marathon, but it's a good one, and I think you will enjoy it. It's really well organized. I thought it was apart from the boo-boo they made with the long mile last year, it was a really good marathon. So tip wise, I just say, just prepare mentally for those quiet sections, which there are a lot of.
Yeah. Amazing. Next one is from Rob Scott, 33. And he says, hello both. Great job on your half marathon PBs. Track 5,000 meters went really well. Came home in a chip time, 19:04.3.
Wow.
Which I was well made up with. First time sub 20 for me. So first time sub 20, and he almost went a whole minute under sub 20.
Incredible.
Went out at 90-second laps, which is 18:45 pace, and had to go deep from the last 4 laps in. Did drift a bit in the 4th kilometre to around 93, 94, but brought it back in the end. Andy, your Worcester half marathon PB has nipped mine by 38 seconds. So if I can go nearly sub 19, it's only a matter of time before you do the same. I'm in for Manchester Marathon again next year. So I guess if we're tracking each other, I should be going for 3:20. Better
yes,
get
you
the
should
mileage
be.
up.
Amazing. So I remember Rob saying he was more excited for this track 5K or 5,000 than he was for Manchester. So
incredible.
Amazing work, mate. That's that's incredible. 19. Wow, to break it by a minute.
No, to never go sub 20 and then run a 19:04. That's.
But I like that level. Because Rob has said to himself, I'm not going for 20 here. I'm going to smash 20. He's going for 90-second laps, not 98, 100-second laps. Like he knows, right, my track sessions I've been doing this. So this is how I'm going to run track. And I really like that you were brave and you were courageous. And that's a little bit like what I want to do in Cardiff. I want to just maybe go a little bit harder than maybe I should, and just to see where it goes. So, and like Rob took a gamble, rolled the dice, got double sixes. So well done.
Amazing work.
Our next one was from No bib, just bops. And
No bips, just bops.
no bips, just bops. No bips, just bops. I'm catching up with these pods, so I'm a little bit late to the party, but I just wanted to comment to thank you guys for speaking so sensibly about weight/body image. It's very hard to avoid casual diet culture chat day to day, and some days can affect you if you've ever had trouble with them. But it is especially tricky in endurance sport where disordered eating habits are so normalized. But you guys did a good job and recognized that it is sensitive. I also enjoyed Andy's almost maths at the end of a very tenuous link to the answers in Brett's end of the podcast quiz at the end of the podcast. So this is going back to episode 9 and pour some sugar on me. So
it is a very it's one of those that there is constant on social media. There is constant people telling you how you should eat or how you should look or what you should do to look a particular way or what's the best diet for a runner or anything like that. It's crazy how much is out there. And I would say 90% of them are not, they're not educated in nutrition or diet or anything at all. So most of them, you should take their advice with a pinch of salt. And really, what does a runner's body look like? Well, a runner's body looks exactly like your body if you run. Yeah. That is a runner's body because you're a runner and you have a body.
So no matter how far or how fast.
Yeah, exactly. So just don't let people online dictate how you should feel about yourself.
Exactly. If you go for a run and think, no, I'm going to have some donuts. Have some donuts. Nothing. There's no rules. You can just do what you want. I've now fallen into a pattern where I don't know if I run for treats or if I eat treats because I run. I don't know which way around it is now. I don't know if I'm running off. I don't know if I'm running to treat myself or I'm trying to run off the treats. It's a bit of both.
I finished my Sunday long run and go, right, I've got another 1,300 calories to eat now.
That's the best bit.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, food tastes much sweeter after a good run, doesn't it?
Yeah. I told you, didn't I? But I chuckled because in one of your videos, Laura said, imagine how much faster you'd be if you cleaned up your diet. And as she said that, I was tucking into a crisp sandwich.
So that's exactly what I'm going to have pre Cardiff. If you can do it, so could I.
Exactly. Yeah. So good.
Where do we get to?
Next comment is from Charlotte Taylor, and she says, "We need more of your cat, Brett. Andy's Daisy is always stealing the show." We've already seen Boba this episode, so should we say hello to Misa as well? Who is just down at the bottom by my chair. Should we say hello?
Hi, Misa. Hello.
So she then says, reference autumn marathons. I've got Abingdon on the 20th of October, trying to get good for age for London 26 as I failed miserably for London 24. So fingers crossed for Abingdon on the 20th of October. And hopefully you can smash that good for age time and get down to London.
Yeah, it's growing as one of one of Britain's sort of up and coming marathons, isn't it, Abingdon? Because I think the Fod Runner's doing it this year. I was actually very tempted to do it as a sort of warm up race, but I just thought, I don't know, it might be a little bit too far. And I know what will happen. I'll get sort of drawn into doing it all at marathon pace, and I'll end up running a PB. Then I'll ruin Valencia. But Abingdon looks and sounds like it falls at a nice time of year for weather, and it seems like a really beautiful place to run as well.
Yeah. But Andy, you shouldn't be running a full marathon in training for a marathon. Stop it.
Yeah, I know. I've never done that.
No, I know you haven't, but don't even think about it. Yeah,
I am thinking about it.
No,
I can't stop thinking about it. Right, I am thinking about it. Sorry. Where do we get to? So next one was from Mark Hurdy-Gurdy. Andy, Elvis was not there in 2023 either. Last time he was was 2022, never to return. Elvis has gone. Elvis has literally left the building. So basically, the Great North Run, for years at the John Reed Roads, towards the end at 10, 11 miles, there was always a bloke dressed as Elvis singing Elvis songs, and it would literally just help you get up the hill. And then I saw him the first year I did it, and then I haven't seen him since, and I've been wondering where he is, but apparently he's obviously jacked it in. Oh, what a shame.
Sorry.
Oh.
Next one is from Wayne Farrington, and he says,
do you want me to go? Do you want me to go?
Go for it,
right.
Please, mate.
Wayne says, great podcast, guys. Top entertaining banter as always about my favourite hobby and keeping me and lots of others totally inspired and motivated in our running journeys. It was fab to meet and chat with you both at pre-Worcester City half marathon a couple of weeks back by the bag drop bit. I was wearing the Redditch Stars top. Well done both on your amazing PBs there. Awesome running. I did it in 1 hour 55, half marathon PB is 1:48, which I was very pleased with, especially with needing to manage recovery from a recent hamstring niggle. Onwards to Oxford Half now in mid-October, which is supposed to be a good one. Keep doing what you're both doing. It's very much appreciated out there. Cheers, Wayne, aka Faz. Cheers, Faz.
Awesome.
Nice
Cheers,
one, mate.
Wayne.
Great to meet you, and well done on the 155. And I hope you're going to bounce back from injury even stronger. So good luck in Oxford.
Yeah. Amazing. So next one's from Freddie Runs, and he says, hey, I'm a fairly new convert to kilometers. I'm old and I've always worked in miles until I started YouTube. Kilometers definitely makes it easier when you're in a run, but my little brain does still think in miles when it comes to describing how far away something is.
Yeah.
And then he also says was going to save up these podcasts for Endure 24 next year, then realised I'll only need 2 episodes to get through the whole race.
Yeah, maybe even just this one. Maybe just one.
But I did give Freddie a little bit of grief last week, didn't I, about saying that he works in kilometres, but then talked about how far he'd ran at the Endure 24 in miles.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's quite funny. We've got another one from Lee Chesterton here who says, did anyone else recognise Brett in the Redditch Choral Society on the BBC Midlands Today 60-year review? Have I missed you? Did I miss you on the TV? I remember you saying you went to record it after because you had to leg it home from Parkrun that one day. Oh, has it been aired?
It has been aired, yeah.
Did you get a close-up?
No, unfortunately, no. I did. No, just the wide shot of the choir with me singing at the back.
Oh,
but yeah, good.
Well, that's good. Well, I bet Lee loved that. So that's Brett. That's Brett. Wicked. So we've got another one from Mark here who says, Saviours, I was hoping that the podcast came through tonight. That's my soundtrack for Robin Hood half tomorrow. Sorted. Robin Hood was last Sunday, as the time of recording this podcast, which is a half marathon from Nottingham. And Mark, I wanted to mention Mark, actually. Mark, massive respect, Mark, because not only has he had COVID this year and it really knocked him about, and I apologise if this is wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was Mark who had a bereavement. I believe, was it his mom? Was it your mum, Mark? Like in last year's race. And he said to the race organisers, look, basically, my mum is really, really poorly. And they said, yeah, you can defer till next year. And he did it this year. And I'm not sure on his time, but I'm sure it was probably more about completing it. I'm sure it was an emotional one.
Yeah, amazing.
So, amazing, Mark. We're sending you all our love, mate, and to you and the family. So, you're a good lad.
Yeah. I met Mark up in Manchester whilst I was malt loaf shopping.
Oh, yeah, at Tesco.
Yeah.
You having your little party in Tesco and you kept meeting all the fans.
Yeah. But he caught me securing the goods, some saurine malt loaf ready for race day.
Brilliant.
Next one is from Lee Chesterton again. And he says, I think it was last week, Brett said you should blow your own trumpet. I ran a 1:15 half in 1:15 half marathon in Redditch in the 90s, which puts me in the top 1% of half marathoners. Happy days. That is pretty incredible.
Yeah.
So great run in Lee back in the 90s.
Long before super shoes and gels.
I was going to say, yeah, way before that. So yeah, that's pretty good going.
Yeah, well done, mate. Jason Pritchard has written in and said, another great episode. How I don't think we've ever had so many comments in our life. Another great episode. Brilliant to get an insight into the Q brothers. So this is in reference to Todd and Carl from last week's episode and their backgrounds and training. Question I've got for Carl and Todd is, if you get a chance to get them back on, are they self-coached or do they follow any sort of training plan for their marathons? Keep up the good work, guys. Great to meet you at the start line of Worcester a few weeks ago. So I could be wrong, but I don't think they are coached, are they?
No, I don't think so. I think they're club runners, but I don't think they have been going to club sessions recently. I think their training plan has been written by themselves.
Yeah.
But obviously, when they come to recap their race from Sunday, they can let us know.
Yeah. So we've got
next one is next one's from the Woo, old Will, and he said, "Love the insight with the bros. However, I got ready to stop my long run and smash my headphones if anyone chose the American office over the British one. Brent is the GOAT."
Could not agree more.
Yeah. Very, very, very true.
Kieran Turner has written in and said, congratulations on the pod PB. I think that was in reference to last week's 220. And good luck to the lads with the race because they're both running Chester this weekend.
Yeah.
Run well, lads. Thanks for another enjoyable watch, fellas.
Excellent.
And good luck to you, Kieran, who's running the Royal Parks half marathon this weekend.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. Good luck, Kieran.
Yeah. You know my half marathon PB, so go out there and go. That's the time to beat.
Yeah, good. Smash it. Like, go and beat him like you did at Bushy.
Yeah, you steward. I'll get you next year.
And then the last one we have is from Mark G, who says, "I'm a few episodes behind. Enjoyed this one. Cheers." And that was from Fog on the Tyne. So your recap of the Great North Run. So cheers, Mark. Cheers for catching up. So all that leaves us to do is the Strava segment. That didn't quite work because I couldn't get the words out. Strava segment.
Sounds so sinister. Brilliant.
And last week's leaderboard, our leader of the leaderboard with exactly on the nose 90 miles was Steve Turner. In second was Nicholas Forsman with 82 miles. And third was Mike Roderick with 67.4. Our top lady was D. Cook Rees with 35.5 miles. Second was Lisa Thomas with 28.9 miles. And third was Rachel Davies.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, yeah, Rachel D. With 22.2 miles. Who is Rachel? She's gearing up for her massive long ultra, isn't she? Coming off her hunt.
Is it called the Autumn 100 or something?
Yeah, she's doing 100 miles, isn't she?
Madness.
She's mental. So, yeah, best of luck with that, Rachel.
Yeah, well done. That's amazing.
You're a mentalist.
Yeah. Well, brilliant. Yeah. She is mental.
Yeah.
What a glowing review. Good luck, Rach. I'm sure you'll smash it. Yeah, we know you will.
Luck.
We know you will.
And then our elevation leader was Jack Blackburn with 5,397 foot. Second was Tommy D with 4,393. And third was Neil B with 4,278 foot.
Decent. Yeah, well done, guys.
But there we go.
There we go. So we got through it. And you haven't fainted or you haven't,
no.
you haven't like gone into some sort of had a fit or anything. So I think that's a good sign.
Yeah, I've almost lost my voice, but yeah, we're there. We've got to the end, so it's all good. So I'm going to go and have some more honey, lemon, and ginger in a minute, and hopefully soothe this throat.
Try not to spill that one on you as well.
Oh no, yeah, no, I'm going to be all sticky. But there we go. Never mind. But yeah, shall we leave it there?
Yes, I think we should. Best of luck to everyone who's racing this weekend. If you get a chance to listen to this before your race, I hope it goes really well. If not, let us know how you got on. Those of you that are running Chester, especially the Chester Marathon, which is coming this weekend. Or those of you that are running Cardiff, see you there. And good luck to you, mate, in Ulster, if you make it, which I hope you do.
Yeah, fingers crossed. But yeah, best of luck to everybody racing. But special good luck to the Quiney brothers. Run so everybody can go, that was liquid football. And
He's got a foot like a traction engine.
At the end, they can go up to everybody and go, kiss my face.
Jurassic Park.
So thank you so much for watching, everybody, and listening, however you consume this podcast. And we will be back again next week. Cheers, guys.
Chester, North Wales off the M56.